Hey everybody, it's Christian Buckley doing another MVP Buzz Chat, and I'm talking today with Chris. Hello.
Hey, Christian, how the heck are you doing today?
Oh, I don't know. It's starting to heat up over there. I still have the shade down because there's just too much sun and bright and hot that comes through. But yeah, well, Chris, folks that don't know you as part of this system, but this series here, who are you? Where are you? And what do you do?
Sure. My name's Chris Wagner. I'm a director of AI and data at Baker Tilly. We do consulting in the AI and data space. So if you're looking to get started with AI projects or anything in data, yeah, we're your guys. We do a ton of work with Microsoft Fabric and Copilot, and that's just keeping us busy 24/7. I also have a YouTube channel over at Kratos BI. You can go check it out. I think I've got over 1,600 videos out
Wow.
there about data and analytics and Power BI and consumption and all of that good stuff.
Oh, very cool. I know that I always see this. I have a little bit of like the YouTube envy of these people. It's like, oh, I've got like 20 videos and I just hit 1 million views. It's like, what? Yeah. For those of us that
That
are
is
like
not our niche.
niche, I know. That's the thing. In our niche,
yeah,
no, nope.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We don't do cute cat videos. Like having 100 views on a video is sometimes really really good depending upon the topic. Like one of my favorite videos out there that I go back to on a regular basis is like how to add a service principal to Fabric the right way, because it's got a couple gotchas on it. And I mean, it's been out there for like a year now, and I think it's got 1,200 views. It's not like, 1 million or anything like that, but straight up, I've never seen anyone cover all the exact points that need to be done to actually get it set up right so that it works. So I
Hey,
reference it myself.
that's an important distinction, though. I always tell us for folks when you talk to, and I'm sure you have, people that come and say like, well, how do I become an MVP? And do I need to have like all these followers? Do I need to have all this space? Like, no. I mean, I have content that's been out there that it has literally over years dozens of views.
Right.
But it was like important content for that niche, for that space, and I'll have people that will come up. It's kind of like presenting at a conference. If there's 10 people sitting in there, I mean, it's an ego boost to have 500 people in a packed, all seats filled session. But I mean, I honestly, you could have equal impact if there's 10, 15, 20 people in there and they're asking questions and applying what you're sharing. I actually prefer to have that interactive small audience.
Yeah, and I think it also depends on who the target is, right? If you're talking about an individual like DAX function, well, then okay, maybe you have 500 people in there or 1,000 or whatever it is, because everyone's going to need to know how to do this, or it's a challenge for lots and lots of people. But you could also be talking about the architecture of how things should be set up for your entire platform. And if you talk to, I don't know, I can't remember, like the largest customers are doing these things, and you have architectural conversations with them.
It's the 4 people that are actually building that out that are your target, right?
Right, that's exactly right. You want 4 to attend. You don't want 500.
Yeah.
For 500 people, it's useless to hear about it. You want the 4 people to be there.
Yeah. Well, that's why I to appeal to the masses occasionally, like I've got a recurring a series of podcasts that I do, and I'll throw in for my co-hosts, I'll throw in to throw them off a little bit, and I'll bring up some kind of pop culture thing. I'll talk about the Real Housewives or something. Do you know what happened here in this thing? And they're like, what are you talking about? But that's part of my trying to appeal to the masses there.
Well, you got to appeal to the cat video to some extent.
Right.
Like what you got going on. So it's a little more relatable than just dry data mesh conversations, right?
Well, I do love hearing like the origin story, kind of how you got into the program. What did you know about the MVP program? What was your path into the program like?
Well, that was really funny. I've been working in this field for like well over a decade. Had done some incredible things inside of Power BI, and like I've been working on Power BI and these components since the old days of Excel with Power View and Power Pivot and like the old green icon. Like I was part of that crew, like building stuff out from, I mean, honestly, I think it was like 17 years ago or something crazy like that was my first interactions with it. So I've been doing some incredible stuff. And when someone told me like, hey, you should be an MVP, I'm like, I really should. I should be an MVP. And they said, well, I'll nominate you. Great. Microsoft should better recognize. And for like 3 years, I thought Microsoft was just going to like recognize me without me doing anything. Because, I'm Chris Wagner. Like Microsoft should know who I am.
I have a sticker. Chris, have you seen this? I don't have one here. It's in a box back there. I have one that's a meme that says, "Don't you know who I am?"
Yeah.
I need to keep one up on my desk so I can like hold it right here for it. It's like a running joke. It's not like a narcissism thing. It's just sometimes if there's somebody that's they're buying into their own marketing, you can just kind of quietly hand them one of the stickers.
And that, I mean, I figure I'm a customer, I'm a huge user, I run a big company. Microsoft should know who I am, and in some levels, they kind of should, and like it's a little silly, but it's okay. So for about 3 years, like I put zero effort into the application process. Like I literally name, email, submit, right? Like, and I gotta tell you, you are gonna get nowhere if you're trying to be an MVP if your effort for that is name, email, and submit.
If you act like you don't care, guess what? Microsoft will act like they don't care.
Right. That's exactly it. So the second I went, well, wait a minute, why did I get declined 3 times in a row? And then I actually looked at the program. I'm like, oh, you have to put in an application, and you have to like all the blogs that I would write for internally, I just had to start writing them for external facing so that everyone could use them. And I kind of made those 2 pivots, and then the next time I submitted, it just went right through, and we were good to go. So
well, congrats. I mean, in this space, I mean, there's a lot happening in this space too. I mean, so you named a couple things. Do you specialize, focus in specific areas, or maybe the better question is, what are you most passionate about right now? Like, what are you writing about, creating content around right now?
Well, that's a great question. And so, like, the big thing right now is we're really seeing that it's no matter what topic you're working in, it's AI so I am, and I'm very much leading with how are we solving AI-based challenges and issues that leaders are bringing up. And then now I talk a lot about with Fabric or with Azure Databricks or whatever it is with that integrated data platform. And so that is something that like I'm having these conversations day in, day out, because while everyone's talking about AI, you cannot use AI you can, but like you just because AI exists doesn't mean the old garbage in, garbage out law doesn't continue to exist. And that's the problem we're really seeing with lots of companies is like, hey, they want to use AI, but for the last 30 years, they've probably underfunded their data platform because, they did just enough to get by and just enough to like get out a report or two. But their data platform itself isn't in any way, shape, or form ready for AI to sit on top of it and produce proper results. So we're helping people understand that, have a strategy for how can you build out the muscle of AI and start slow, because everyone's going to start slow, while you build out or reinforce your data platform so that it's prepped and ready, so that as that AI muscle gets strong, it's able to take advantage of that good data that and have in your data platform.
It's funny. There's such a parallel in information management. I'm a SharePoint MVP. I like that side of it. And I often talk about the fact that like I helped build in the mid 90s my first intranet and build out a whole project management organization, all the content associated with it for this IT organization, working for the phone company Pacific Bell back in the day, and going through all of that. the principles for data management, the back end, the front end, metadata, the navigation in the like all those pieces still relevant. Like I learned lessons of content life cycle even earlier than that, before that, like working before I was married, working for a law firm and being responsible, being lectured by an attorney, one of the lead partners, on the cycle, the 7-10 year cycle, and the intentional destruction of documents and e-discovery, kind of all those things. Like all of those rules still apply.
Yeah.
All of that, like clean up, own the data. Is your impression that are people more aware of that? Are they? I mean, because the last 20 years of working in the SharePoint space is, people are like, oh no, well, the new version of SharePoint will just fix all that. It's like, no, garbage in, garbage out. You need to go do this work. The conversations I'm having is people seem to be more aware of the security, compliance, and governance risks with AI. I mean, is that actually true? Are you seeing that with your clients?
Actually, that's a great question. What we're seeing is either people are very aware of the potential security requirements, and so like AI is something that's out there, but they're like keeping it at arm's length as much as they can because they don't know what potential security vulnerabilities they may or may not have, right? Because they're smart enough to realize they haven't made a sufficient investment in that or not, and so they're wary. And then we have other people who are just like gung ho forward, and they're like, yeah, AI is going to be great, and of course we've got data, and AI can look at it. And with those people, the conversation we have is, what's your third rail? What inside your organization, what security issue would put you out of business if AI violated it, right? And because every company has one, right? Like, and it's very easy. Like, okay, let's say you accidentally store all of your PIP program information about the employees who are on performance improvement plans in an Excel drive that's publicly available to everyone, and AI goes out and starts to churn those results out for people inside your organization, right? Like that could put you out of business in a lot of states in the United States if you're divulging that personal information. You're right for a class action lawsuit, right? And so I think a lot of people are not prepared and ready for that. And so like making sure that AI is helping bring that to the forefront of the conversation, which is then giving people the motivation to invest in those types of governance and security projects, right? That's probably why you're having more conversation. I would imagine one of the reasons that's driving more of these conversations, because companies are going like, oh crap, this is more than just like, boy, gee, wouldn't it be nice to make sure that this is in place, to, oh, it has to be locked down and secured.
I think a lot of them that are doing pilots are even seeing some of that. I don't know the right way to phrase that, because they're piloting, so they're kind of lightly touching, in the data, but they're starting to see like, oh, I see how this will surface. Like it's funny. It's kind of we had this experience a couple of years back with a lot of the automation that Microsoft is working on, and so it's not like any of this is new, but they're being more careful in their approach to that. And I think I personally, I give props to Microsoft for, out of the gate with the announcements around Copilot, they were talking about ethical AI and governance. I'm like, wow, it was as a governance guy, it stood out to me. The fact, like, that's great. Follow through is
I
important.
wonder. So I'm going to toss this out as something that just dawned on me. So for people like yourself and myself, and probably the viewers here, like, we started here on our journey, and as we went along, we gained this knowledge and this information, and now we know about and why these governance things are important. Other people started their journey and they didn't think about it at all, and so they spent their entire focused on other things, not thinking about this stuff one iota. But along comes AI, an ethical AI that gives them recommendations and says, "Hey, I'm this guy who has not paid attention to those things, and I'm wanting to go in and build out a proper strategy for my job. Hey, AI, help me do that." Well, AI is saying, "Well, you should have security, you should have governance, you should have enable," right? Like AI is coming along and prompting them along, so that while they didn't take those growth steps, they're suddenly 10 years in and they're asking those questions. Or hopefully someone who's just starting out is asking questions of AI, and AI is just starting them that far along on their professional journey, which would be
If they're asking those
fantastic,
questions,
right?
I often say it's one of my favorite things to do with generative AI is like, I don't know what I need to do here.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yep.
ask it. It'll say, here's what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what my concerns are around
Mm-hmm.
security, compliance, governance. Here's my industry. Like, feed it with the information. Here's my corporate guidelines. Again, that's more of a co-pilot thing than like a chat GPT, thing, conversation. But you provide that context, and here's what I'm trying to do. Tell me what I don't know. What should I be? How should I approach this? And it is fairly comprehensive and what we'll come back to. And then for each one of those, you're like, all right, well, here's where I am today. How do I baby step to get to where I need to be over the next 30 days? What should I do? What should I focus on first? And it can help you with that kind of planning as well.
The other thing I like to do is I like to prep it and say, I want you to ask me enough questions about my environment to come up with a custom strategy for me. I want you to ask them one question at a time until I've given you all the information necessary to come up with that recommendation. And then it is amazing how it will walk you through all of the relevant steps, all the relevant components, and then truly come up with something that's custom for your specific situation. It's
that's a great prompt to add in. I see your prompt. I'll raise you a prompt. I also like, you can attach on to that is to say, and with your response, show me the sources where your recommendations are coming from. To make sure that, and most of it, like Copilot does a good job of that. It provides an answer and like, here's the links. This is where, without having to ask for it separately. And even ChatGPT and other platforms are doing something similar. They didn't do that 6 months ago. They've added that capability. But it's incredible. I say as somebody who I write a lot. On different topics, mostly tech and business. I just finished my first science fiction novel. It's in review right now and getting ready to publish like that. But like writing a lot is I hate when people say, I don't know what to write about. Like that comment, like wash your mouth out with soap. Let me smack you across the face. There's no excuse now. Whatever it is, feed a little bit of information and it will get the ball rolling. Like, here's what I think I'm trying to do here. Help me out. What are some ideas? Boom.
AI is really great at getting those creative juices flowing and getting pen to paper and helping you down that path. And I am not a prolific author. I went from, hey, I want to start blogging. And so I'd start writing stuff. And then I realized, like, I do not write well. It takes me a long time to write stuff. So I went to recording videos. Well, now with generative AI, I am good at putting together an outline, right? Like, these are the things I want to say and I want to communicate, right? I'm an expert, and these are the principles I want to exalt, and this is how I want this to happen. Help me write this stuff. Help me draft these things. Help me bring in relevant sources for this stuff. It's a huge time saver, and it works really fairly good, I think.
Yeah. Are you a big fan of using the mic with AI? So you're actually talking to it and get it that way? Because that's like the same way for a lot of people that struggle with writing, they can sit there and explain it. And I just say, like, well, just write as like you're talking. And people still struggle with that. But now the ability just to turn on the mic and just dictate in and capture that, It's a lot of fun to go and do that, to have a conversation with AI.
Me and my wife do that when we go on road trips or we're driving someplace, and like a topic comes up that we don't know much about. We'll turn it on and we'll say, "Hey, we want to learn more about this. Can you please tell it to us as if you were creating a 10-minute podcast about this topic?" And the AI will just then start like going off like, "Okay, Chris, let's talk about zebras in the wild," and they'll just
Yes,
go
but
on about
but do it in the voice of Samuel L. Jackson. Or
Does it do that?
I know that there's some mods that are out there. I don't know, but you can say like recite it back to me in an English accent or something or other. Like
Okay.
I don't know what the limitations are, but there are things that you can do.
Oh,
But
that's cool.
just again, I'm not authorized to mention Samuel L. Jackson in this video, but I just know that there's and I won't for my device from a shopping site that is sitting on the shelf behind me. I won't mention any names. You can purchase a Samuel L. Jackson voice mod for that.
Really?
Yes, and I think there's also an R-rated version of it, the interactions and its response. So, but yeah.
So I could just say it right now and it would buy it for you, huh?
I don't think so. It's smart enough now that it recognizes the voice differences. It doesn't pop up so much anymore.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
But
I got rid of her a while back because she was annoying me. So.
Oh, super annoying. I know. But then we've tried, and my wife will unplug, and then I realize, dang it, I just like leave it on. I'm using it too much for other stuff. So I have I have her in the major rooms.
Wow. So, all right.
But anyway, well, listen, Chris, I really appreciate the time and chatting and getting to know you. I know there's enough events that are happening. There's a lot of, especially in the AI space, a lot of bleed over into the different events that like previously might have been a SharePoint centric event. We've got a ton of, the Power Platform side of things, the Fabric side of things. There's a lot of overlap that's happening between those areas. But hopefully see you at a future event or at the MVP Summit this next spring.
Yes, hopefully at the MVP Summit. That would be fantastic. I actually missed this year, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to go this year. So
excellent.
I'll see you there.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for your time.
And thank you, and thank you for listening. You guys have the best day ever now. All right.